If you love true horror, crime documentaries, and spine-tingling paranormal stories, then do subscribe to Whispers from the World for more thrilling content. Stay tuned, stay curious, and let's get into today's story. So today, the case I am going to talk about is from Bangladesh. It is a true tragedy. This will make your blood boil and also break your heart. On August 28, 2023, a boy called his mother. His voice sounded very scared, and in a trembling voice, he told his mom that some people had kidnapped him and were beating him badly. Before his mom could understand what was happening, the boy cut off the call. Then, another call came from the same number, but this time someone else was speaking. This is a case about Hridoy Shibli Sadiq. He was 20 years old and was born in Chittagong. Shibli was only child and belonged to a very poor family where his father, M.D. Shafiq, was a truck driver and his mother, Nahida Akhtar, was a housewife. Shibli loved studying and had big dreams for his life. To fulfill his dreams, he started working at a very young age. Their family's financial condition was very bad. So, along with studying, he also worked to save money for his college fees. He started a new job on a poultry farm located not far from his home. Even though he started working at a young age, he was good at his work. Shibli worked so well there that the owner of the poultry farm promoted him from a worker to a manager. After getting this position and job, Shibli was doing his work properly and truthfully. At the same time, he was also earning enough money for his studies. Shibli was very kind and caring. That proves the saying, bad things happens to good people. While working at the poultry farm, Shibli made many friends, but most of them were 5 to 6 years older than him and worked below him, since he was educated. But because of his sincerity, sometimes fights broke out between him and his friends at the farm. These were not big fights, they were usually resolved at the farm itself. Shibli's job and studies were going well. He used to manage his time properly. On the morning of August 28, 2023, he followed his daily routine and went to work. He did his duty, and just like every other day, he was supposed to return home that night. But Shibli did not come home that night. His family was waiting for him because sometimes he had to stay back for work. They thought that maybe something similar had happened that day. However, as time passed, their worrying began to grow. Around 11 to 12 at night, when he still hadn't returned, his family tried calling him, but he wasn't picking up. But then night turned into morning, and Shibli still did not come home. So his family, now even more worried, started asking around in the neighborhood if anyone had seen him. They even tried calling the farm owner, but they couldn't reach him either. Shibli's mother received a call. The call was from Shibli himself, but he sounded extremely scared. He told his mom that some people had kidnapped him, and he had been kept inside a car for the last 12 hours. They were beating him badly. Before Shibli could say anything more, the call abruptly ended. His mother, panicked, kept calling his number back but in vain. But then she received another call from the same number. This time, the voice was completely different. The person on the other side of the call said, "Your son Shibli is currently in our custody. We have kidnapped him, and if you want him back safe, do not try to contact the police." The kidnapper then said that if they wanted Shibli back alive, they had to arrange 1.5 million taka, and with that, the call ended before Shibli's mom could say anything more. His parents didn't have 1.5 million taka, but for their son's life, they started trying to collect the money. For 3 days, they tried everything. They asked neighbors and relatives for financial help. On August 31, 2023, the kidnappers called again and were informed that the family had failed to arrange the money. The kidnappers somehow knew about the family's financial condition and had some idea that they wouldn't be able to gather that much money. The kidnappers reduced the ransom from 1.5 million taka to 200,000 taka. Shibli's parents said, "We will do it, just don't harm our son." They asked the kidnapper for 4 more days. Even 200,000 taka was a huge amount for Shibli's family. After reaching out door to door, they finally managed to collect 200,000 Bangladeshi taka. After that, they just waited for the kidnapper's call. On the afternoon of September 4th, the kidnappers called and told them a location where they had to bring the money. Once again, they threatened that if they informed the police, they would kill their son. So now, Shibli's family didn't want to take any risk. Right after the call, Shibli's father took the money and went to the location. He waited there for a while, and 2 men arrived with masks on their faces. They took the money and left, saying, "You will find your son at home." Only Shibli's father went to deliver the money, so he was happy thinking that his son was finally safe. He quickly returned home, but when he got there, his son wasn't home yet. He asked his wife about his son. Hearing this, Shibli's mother got even more scared. Shibli's father explained everything to his wife, and the 2 of them waited at the door for their son until the evening. They thought that they had paid the money. Now our son will come back. Evening turned into night, but there was no sign of Shibli. Shockingly, 3 more days passed, and now it was September 7th. It had been 3 days since they paid the ransom. Even though the kidnappers had told them not to call Shibli, his father decided to call anyway because too many days had passed. Almost 10 days had passed. Things were becoming very difficult. So, on September 7th, in the evening, Shibli's parents decided they had no choice but to go to the local police station. They narrated everything that had happened in the past 10 days to the police. The police were obviously angry at first. The police collected all the details about Shibli and registered an FIR to start investigating the case. The police began to backtrack Shibli's activities. The investigation revealed that Shibli was genuinely a good boy. But during the investigation, Shibli's mother, Nahida, recalled something. Shibli had mentioned that about 2 months ago, while working at a poultry farm, he had an argument with 6 boys working under him. This fight was later resolved, and Shibli didn't pay much attention to it. Hearing this, the police pursued this lead immediately and went straight to the poultry farm. Upon reaching the farm, the police detained the 6 workers who had argued with Shibli. The initial investigation revealed that these 6 men were trying to prove themselves innocent. However, when the police put pressure on them, 4 of the accused, Umingching Mama, Switchingom Mama, Angtham Mama, and Yuktami Mama, came forward and confessed. The police arrested them on charges of kidnapping, but 2 names were still unknown. After their arrest, the police questioned them about Shibli's location, but they didn't say a word. After several days of detention and a lot of pressure, on September 11th, they finally began to talk. They revealed everything, how they kidnapped him to take revenge. Initially, their plan was to torture Shibli, extort some money from his family, and then release him. Everything was going as planned, and they were about to get the ransom money. However, during this time, Shibli recognized 2 of their faces. They realized that Shibli had seen them and knew they had kidnapped him. If they let him go, he would go to the police, and they would get arrested. To save themselves, they stabbed Shibli multiple times with a knife they had on the table. Shibli bled heavily and died instantly. Until now, the police and the family thought it was just a kidnapping case. But it was now confirmed to be a murder. The police then asked the kidnappers about Shibli's body. They admitted that after killing him, they chopped up his body and threw the parts off in rows on hill. After their arrest, another shocking detail emerged. Among the accused was 26-year-old Umingching Mama, who confessed that he was once good friends with Shibli, but had a fallout a couple of months ago. After that, Umingching decided to take revenge. He stated in his confession that after killing Shibli, he personally chopped his body into pieces and even ate some of Shibli's flesh before throwing the remaining body down the hill. It was such a horrifying and shameful act. As soon as the news reached the media, massive protests erupted across the country. People were outraged and demanded justice. The police took them to the hill, and after climbing down a bit, they found body parts and skeletons scattered around. A little further down, they found a proper body with a completely destroyed face, making it impossible to recognize. However, based on the condition and the clues, it was confirmed that it was Shibli's body. Seeing this, the police arrested all of them on charges of murder. On the evening of September 11th, when the police were transporting Umingching Mama and the other accused, the crowd pulled Umingching out of police custody and started beating him. Before the court could sentence him, the mob killed him on the spot. The police barely managed to rescue the remaining 5 accused by releasing tear gas and lathi charges and took them back into custody. The 5 remaining accused are still in jail. Shibli's parents lost everything. They were already struggling, and losing a son was a big blow. Always choose peace. Don't escalate a small argument. Never take laws in your own hand. The tragic story ends here. I would like to request all of you that if you enjoy watching true crime documentaries, horror stories, then please like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Click the notification bell to stay updated. See you soon.